What's going on, guys? My name is Triforce Addiction. Welcome back to another COD mode video. So today I wanted to say goodbye to the Undead Siege mode. So finally, after a very long time, even after promises of shutting down Undead Siege, they have kept it around for a few more seasons because I'm assuming they just wanted players to be able to get Ether Crystal on as many weapons as they can. But after season 4 ends, that's when Undead Siege is finally going to go away. So I want to just, talk about my experience with it and how I truly felt about the game mode. So I believe this particular mode came around season 6 of last year when the MX9 and the Right Take AMR were barely out. And, Ether Crystal was something a lot of people were waiting for because like the camo, let's be honest, looks better than Damascus. I think almost any camo in this game actually looks better than Damascus. So it was nice that we were finally getting a different completionist camo to work on because, let's be honest, I know Diamond is a pretty sick camo, but, sometimes it gets pretty old to use it all the time. So it's nice to have, something new. And, for the first time ever, we got zombies back into this game. Maybe not in the same way that we did before, but nevertheless we still did get a zombies mode and a completionist camo alongside with it. And at first, since the camo looked pretty good, I assumed that it was going to be a very, very hard camo to unlock. And at first it was for a time, and I started to think that, okay, well, maybe it's not really going to be possible to get all guns with Ether Crystal because when we started off on hard, it was very difficult because the zombies were pretty much impenetrable for the most part. But as you start leveling up and as you start finishing these matches, you start to actually earn more ether shards and ether crystals in order to upgrade your sentry turrets and everything. The sentry turrets were one of the most vital things in this game in order to ensure survival. We had upgrades where we could up the damage, we can increase ammo capacity for our guns, increase reload speeds, as well as increasing your just overall sprint speed and just so on. They did it in such a way where you couldn't really just start off on hard immediately. They wanted you to stay on the casual mode, or I guess the normal mode, as much as possible before you before you actually get into the hard mode. So yeah, you had to stay in casual for quite a bit until you felt like you were upgraded enough and had a good team to help you win during the hard mode, because that was really the only mode before Nightmare where you could actually grind your guns for Ether Crystal. And like I said, at first when I started on hard, it seemed almost impossible because I wasn't fully upgraded. I didn't understand that. At first I started very impatient, but then my friend told me that you just need to upgrade a little bit more and then you start feeling it become more easier for you. So like I said, it was all designed in a way that, you needed to upgrade first before you started on hard. That's how it is supposed to be. It's not meant for you just to go in immediately and it's just, do a little bit extra rounds and the zombies are just going to be just as easy. No, that's not how it works. They want to make it a little hard before you actually started the grind. The upgrades were pretty cool. They did help you out with hard, like I said, but there were times where it felt like the upgrades were really not enough, and that mainly came to your weaponry that you were using, not the sentry turrets, because that was probably one of the most helpful parts. But when it came to your weapon, the damage wouldn't be increased nearly enough to handle zombies in the later rounds. By that, I mean like the damage was extremely low. It wasn't until later on, as months went by, where they added Pack-a-Punch, where you could upgrade your weapon like about I think 5 times, so it could actually take out zombies in like round 4, round 5 a lot easier. And trust me, it is probably one of the most useful things now, and it can help you actually guarantee a win without having the need of someone there to help you. But of course, this update came out like way after I finished the Ether Crystal grind, so it did kind of suck that we didn't have that type of liberty, or I get that type of, leniency. But yeah, it's nice to say that me and my friends did it the hard way. As for the camo requirements, they weren't really that difficult. At first, the kill requirements were pretty high for a lot of weapons, but they did lower it down to like about half. I believe with the assault rifles, you needed like 80 kills in order to at least have it count once towards your progress on Ether Crystal, on whatever your weapon you were trying to work on. But they lowered it down to a much smaller size so you could work on more guns at once. I think that was a very, very welcoming change. At first I thought it was stupid, but nah, it did help us finish the task a lot quicker. Another thing that did help us along the way was the double progression. So at the very beginning of Undead Siege, if you were lucky enough, you had double progressions on certain weapon classes. So for example, if you get the required amount of kills for, let's say, sniper rifles, instead of it counting for 1, it would count for 2. So instead of having to do 6 matches, all you had to do was 3. And this helped you a lot, especially later on down the line when you had the SMGs and assault rifles to do. You could end up working on multiple ones for each game. I think the first time where I was able to consistently play on hard and start grinding, I streamed for quite a long time. I think it was probably one of the longest I've ever streamed on this channel. Like I played for about like maybe 19 hours that day. I was completely addicted. Like I was addicted to Undead Siege. It was crazy how much I played at first. But as time went on, I got like maybe 14 guns done that game. Or done during that time. And yeah, it was crazy. I mean, like how we were working on it. My friend was trying to keep the leaderboard. From what I remember, he was always the one to get the highest amount of points. Of course, he was working on his weapons too, but I kind of felt bad because I felt like I was hogging all the weapon grinding progression because, you know, I wasn't really giving him the chance to, you know, let him grind out his gun. So there would be times where, you know, I guess near the end, I would help him out with, you know, his camo grind because, I mean, yeah, I felt like I was being kind of selfish. Eventually, he got his done as well. I think we got both of ours done like within the same day, or I guess the same time. But yeah, it was one of the most memorable moments in like my entire time playing COD Mobile. It was absolutely amazing. But at the same time, while all these moments were memorable, it wasn't without its downsides. I think everyone could agree. Zombies, at least when it comes to Undead Siege, was extremely, and I mean extremely repetitive. I mean, it's not like you could have gotten all your guns done within like a few matches. No, this is something that went on for almost an entire month. And keep in mind, we had to wait every now and then to get more challenges done. Yes, we would get more daily challenges, but the weekly challenges had the most amount of Battle Pass XP that we needed in order to actually grind out the weapon class that we wanted. The ones at the very end were the marksman rifles and the pistols, I believe. And the rest, like the melee weapons and the launchers, were unlocked once you finished everything else. So like I said, you couldn't reach tier 50 immediately. You have to wait a few days in order for you to even get to that point. So yeah, I guess they just want you to play a little bit more, or, you know, not finish everything just like at once. Which is, I mean, it was fine to me. It didn't bother me. I mean, we could still play multiplayer once we were done grinding, like whatever we needed to grind. And even then, those days that we waited, we were still busy grinding out all the other SMGs and LMGs and everything else. So it really felt like you were never done with Undead Siege. But like I said, as time went by, it just got more repetitive and just more unbearable. Like the more progress you made, the more you just wanted to get the fuck out of that mode. And a lot of people agree with me. I mean, there's a lot of people that actually finished the entire Ether Crystal grind, including the weapons that were updated to include Ether Crystals, such as, you know, the Swordfish or the Hades. And yeah, even then, like, I mean, our patience kind of waned a little bit. I think that was one of the biggest issues when it came to Undead Siege. I mean, you could ask any one of my friends or just anyone in general who has played the mode long enough, and they'll tell you the same thing, that it was just very repetitive and it took a very, very long time to finish, and it's just super boring. So really, once you finish the Ether Crystal grind, there was not really much that you could do in Undead Siege. Once you've done that, you've pretty much completed the entire mode. I mean, you could still continue to grind for a chance to get those ooze skins for the XPR, PDW, and the HS2126, but other than that, there was no reason to actually play Undead Siege. It wasn't until like the later updates of COD Mobile where they allowed you to play Undead Siege again to unlock another 50 tiers, as well as getting Ether Crystal for the rest of the newer weapons, such as the Hades, the PKM, and just all the other more recent stuff like the CBR and SVD as well. I forgot about that one. But yeah, they added support for more weapons for you to get, and they added some Dark Matter skins for, you know, the later parts of the Battle Pass. I think they had the AMAX, the Swordfish, as well as the M13. The DRH and the Renity were also kind of there, but you could only unlock them in Nightmare mode by chance. I mean, by very, very slim chance. From what I saw, from what I remember, I didn't actually play Nightmare at all, mainly because there was no real point to grind it because you could just go on a hard mode and have the ether crystal grind be a lot easier. The only reason to ever be there was to unlock the dark matter DRH or the Renetti, and like I said, the chances of getting those were extremely slim. I know they upped the chances recently, but still, I'm not gonna take the chance, and I'll tell you why. So while I could have done it, the reason why I didn't do it was because during hard mode, there was a chance to earn ooze skins for the XPR PDW, and I think also the HS shotgun, not the lever action, but the one that no one ever uses, that 4-round burst one. And the whole time that I was doing that, the whole ether crystal grind on hard mode, I only ever got one of those ooze skins. And keep in mind, I played over 70 matches within that mode. And throughout that whole time, I only got one. So I wasn't really going to waste my time doing like another 70 plus games in order to unlock the DRH Dark Matter or even the Renetti. I know Raider YT, he ended up doing like almost 100 matches before he got the Dark Matter Renetti. As for DRH, I think he got it a little bit earlier, but he had to spend over 90 matches worth of his time in order to unlock just those 2 Dark Matter skins. So yeah, that was something I didn't want to stress myself out with. I mean, I could live without those skins. So really, I just ended up getting Ether Crystal for the more recent weapons, and that was pretty much it. I think I made it to tier 100, or I don't actually think I did, but I made it high enough to get the Swordfish Dark Matter, and that was pretty much it. That was the end of the line for me when it came to Undead Siege. I just couldn't really deal with it anymore. Like I said, it was extremely repetitive. I mean, it did kind of feel fresh, like, you know, coming back later on in the later seasons, but it still felt very repetitive, and there was really no need for me to continue on with that mode after I was done with everything. One thing I did not like, well, at least when it comes to the conclusion of Undead Siege, is the fact that they did not add support for the remaining weapons such as the Kilo, Koshka, and so on. I think that was kind of like a missed opportunity. They should have at least let us grind out those guns before they decided to close it down, because it just, I don't know, it just didn't really sit right with me that they made that decision. I mean, you know, you have it here for like an extra 2 months. I mean, might as well make the best of it, right? Another missed opportunity was the fact that in the leaks back then, before the update for Undead Siege came out for the Dark Matter weapons, there were other Dark Matter skins that were leaked, but that never really came out, which was the Dark Matter Chopper as well as the Dark Matter, what was it called? The Rytech AMR. Yeah, that's the other Dark Matter weapon. They didn't release those for whatever reason. They could have done that during this whole entire time. Because it's like, why even create the skins if you were never going to release them? That's my whole take. Or maybe those were only available during, or maybe it was only available for the Chinese version of COD Mobile. But still, I mean, if it was available for all, I mean, you might as well just put it into Undead Siege and add more tiers. But again, they never did. But yeah, that's my whole entire take on Undead Siege. Honestly, it was a lot of fun. I think probably one of the most important parts, or probably one of the best parts, was just getting to bond with a lot of new people. I mean, I did that a lot. I met a lot of good people. My friend Spartan, or now he's now known as Soa. What's his name? Zenik, as well as my friend Unknown. He did play for a little bit, but he's kind of doing his own thing now. But yeah, most of my friends that I played with on that mode we kind of like gone our separate ways. But you know, those were times I did cherish a lot, and without them, I couldn't have finished the whole Ether Crystal grind. I wouldn't have had the patience. I just had to rely on luck mostly. But yeah, anyways, that's pretty much it for this video. Hopefully the zombies mode that is returning will be a lot better than Undead Siege. Hopefully they can add more maps on that one. I will discuss that in a later video, but yeah, anyways, I'm going to end it off right here. So I'll see you guys later. Thank you guys so much for watching.